Hello, Seattle hockey fans. Welcome to another episode of Locked On Kraken. I'm your host, Erica Lindsay Ayala. Thank you, as always, for making Locked On Kraken your first listen of the day. And you might notice the background. I am back home for the holiday here in the United States. Happy traveling, I don't know if it's happy traveling, but safe traveling. Happy holidays for all of those who are participating. We're coming up on the holiday weekend. And as a treat to you all, I am going to be talking to a Hockey Hall of Famer and pioneer in the sport. We're also going to get into how the Charlotte Checkers are doing and one stat that stood out to me regarding their last loss. This is Locked On Kraken. All that and more coming up next.
You are Locked On Kraken, your daily podcast on the Seattle Kraken, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
We are the Seattle Kraken.
Hey, what do you say, Seattle hockey fans? Again, Erica Lindsay Ayala, your host of Locked On Kraken. Somewhat regretting not bringing my regular podcast equipment with me, but you know what? You work with what you got, and we're here, and we're going to have a good time, and that is all that matters. As I teased in the open, we are going to have Hockey Hall of Famer Angela James on this show. I'm going to give you a little bit of what Angela James is up to. She's actually coaching, but she was inducted along with, we've talked about her on the podcast before, Kristina Rutherford actually has a fantastic long read article on the one, the only Cammi Granato. Yes, Angela James, our guest for today, and Cammi Granato were inducted as the first ever women into the Hockey Hall of Fame. And now we have Angela on our show. We're going to talk about that long read about Cammi Granato a little bit later in the show, and hopefully have Kristina on here to talk about some of her work. But for today, we're talking to Angela James. This is part of an interview that will run in full on the Founding Four podcast. I'll let you know a little bit more about that. But I got to sit down with Angela James and talk with her a little bit about the Toronto Six, the Premier Hockey Federation, and of course, the most recent Hockey Hall of Fame induction. And that portion of my interview with Angela James is right here on Locked On Kraken. All right, hockey fans, I am here with Hockey Hall of Famer Angela James, also now serving as an assistant coach in the Premier Hockey Federation with the Toronto Six. Angela James, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. You know, I heard you on the Soul on Ice podcast with a few other women hockey players that I've had the privilege not only to meet, but to cover over the years. And, you know, I was definitely vibing with the Auntie Angela vibes. You gave me serious Auntie vibes in that interview, and I was here for it.
Oh, well, now you're making me sound old. You know, if I'm an auntie, well, you know, I've been an auntie for a long time, so that's okay. I welcome it.
Yeah, no, not old, just like all vibes, That's it.
Yeah, no, that was an excellent podcast. I really enjoyed that, getting to know some of the girls around the country, and also in the U.S. as well. So that was a fun time.
Yeah, absolutely. Love that. And we'll make sure we link that for people below. But Angela, I wanted to talk with you a little bit about being able to return to hockey coaching. I know that it's something that you've done before, but as I understand, you took a little bit of a break. So I want to know what about this opportunity with the Toronto Six really stood out to you, and how's it been going so far? We're getting ready for the home opener, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, we have Connecticut coming into our building this coming Saturday, and the girls are getting ready and they're pumped up and ready to show that the Toronto Six is a wrecking force, not to be reckoned with, and also to show what level of hockey they are bringing to the Toronto area and into Canada right now, because we're only game in town when it comes to pro hockey for women in a league situation. So the girls are very excited, and the coaching staff as well.
Yeah, for sure. You and Coach Mark Jocelyn making a little bit of history in women's professional hockey, for sure, as the first Black hockey coaches, which is fantastic. And we're definitely going to get into that. But let's, again, just talk a little bit about your opportunity to coach and, what has it been like to now be able to see firsthand, as you mentioned, what it looks like at the women's hockey level professionally.
Right. So, I've been coaching both boys and girls for probably the last 35 years, 40 years. And when Mark approached me about helping him get into the women's side of things, Mark has been on the guys side of things in junior hockey, pro hockey, individual training. It was a no-brainer. Mark and I, we go back. We went to college together. We both played for our college teams back in the day. And, I said, yeah, Mark, I'd be, more than happy to help you out. Along with coaching the Six, I'm also coaching a midget U18, B team. So it's pretty busy. I retired from my full-time work, so it allowed me the opportunity to, follow my passion, and that's hockey, coaching. Once in a while I get to play when I find time.
Including perhaps, I don't know, I wasn't up in Toronto this year, but did you make it out onto the ice for the Hockey Hall of Fame game?
No, every year, once in a while they'll invite me to play. This year, we had Jana Hafford playing. I'm not sure. I don't think Kim St. Pierre put on the pad. So it kind of alternates. We try to do our best to promote the game. I did a little bit for the Hockey Hall of Fame this year. So, it kind of balances out, what individuals are doing to promote our great game, whether it be males or females. And so it was actually a really good time at the Hockey Hall of Fame. Both women's pro leagues were there together having some conversations, which was excellent. I think that was needed, and there was a great celebration for Kim St. Pierre going into the hall this year. A lot of representation from women as well, and then of course Jerome McGillna, who paid great kudos to the great Grant Fuhrer, and mentioned a lot of different other Black hockey players for him going into the hall and leading so he could follow and be comfortable playing in the NHL.
Yeah, I love that. And obviously that's a part of your legacy as well. You were one of the first women to be inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame, the first Canadian for sure. And also, of course, the first Black woman inducted. And I remember when I went up, we were up there, I suppose it was the year that Jana Hefford and Willie O'Ree went in, actually. And I remember you talking that you and Angela Ruggiero sometimes joke around that it's nice every once in a while to add a few more people to the women's table.
Absolutely. And, with Kim St. Pierre going in, that leaves 8. So our table is full. So now we have to start with a second table. And the Hockey Hall of Fame is, it's such a welcoming atmosphere. And the guys and the girls are just, so inclusive. And, if anything, the Hockey Hall of Fame is the most neutral club you might want to say. But it's such a great fraternity to be a part of. I love going back and just seeing some of the girls, some of the guys, and just enjoying our great game and celebrating the great legends of the game.
James, Hockey Hall of Famer Angela James, and of course, assistant coach with the Toronto Six. You heard Angela talk about Mark Jocelyn, who is the head coach of the Toronto Six. Both are friends. They have known each other, as you heard Angela say, since college, and both are the first Black head coach and assistant coach, respectively, in this hockey league, now known as the Premier Hockey Federation, but it takes on the history of the National Women's Hockey League. So they made some history this season. Christy Clark is the general manager for the Toronto Six, a first Black GM in the league. And then, of course, Michaela Grant Mentis, who, if you don't know that name, especially if you're from Hockey Canada, you should check it out. But Michaela Grant Mentis was the first Black MVP in, again, what is now known as the Premier Hockey Federation. All that talent in Toronto, and they crushed it this weekend, had a dominating win, 5-1 over the Connecticut Whale, and then won on Sunday as well to sweep the weekend series. I had the honor and pleasure of calling the first game. It was my first solo call, so check out Premier Hockey Federation if you haven't. But coming up on Locked On Kraken, I'm going to give you, so we talked to a Hall of Famer. You heard a Hall of Famer talk about the Hockey Hall of Fame, so why not go over some way too early picks for the next Hockey Hall of Fame class. Now, we will not see any Seattle Kraken players or affiliates anytime soon. More than likely, Ron Francis, already a Hall of Famer. Cammi Granato, already a Hall of Famer. But we can certainly aspire. So that's what's coming up next on Locked On Kraken. Right now, let me tell you about Built Bar. Thanksgiving is fast approaching here in the United States, and it's important that you keep your hanger under control. Also, you want to keep your waistline nice and trim, unless you don't, which sometimes, I'm fine to just let it rip. But for this holiday, I am going to be focused on keeping my energy up and the calories down. And that's how Built Bar is going to help. It is a low calorie, low carb, low fat, high protein. It is a low calorie, low carb, low fat, high protein bar that is 100% covered in chocolate. I told you cookie dough chunk is my leading favorite, but there are a lot of other limited edition flavors that are coming out this holiday season, and you don't want to miss any of them. So head over to built.com, and when you use promo code LOCKED15, you will get 15% off your next order at built.com. Remember, that's promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com. Happy snacking. As always, I want to thank you for making Locked On Kraken your first listen of the day. You just heard me talk to the Hoffer Hockey Hall of Fame inductee, Angela James, the first Black woman and one of the first two women alongside Cammi Granato. That's our Seattle Kraken connection. Let's go. Okay, so we've talked about and obviously to a Hoffer, but who are some people that could make the list? And I'm pretty new to, as I always mention this, I'm pretty new to men's hockey, but I did see some names on this list by Greg Wyshynski of ESPN that I definitely recognize one way or another. And the number one name on his list, and I respect it, I appreciate it, I think it's high time for this to happen, but he has the one, the only, Caroline Ouellette on the list. Here we go. Caroline Ouellette on the list. I absolutely love that pick. Crushed it at Minnesota Duluth. Has been a part of the Hockey Canada system as a player, but then also as a coach. I am going to scroll here a little bit, and Jennifer Botterill Now, Jen Botterill, some of you might recognize Jen Botterill's name because she has been an analyst in the space, but before that was absolutely crushing it. Also, another, you guessed it, another Seattle Kraken connection. Talked it before on the show because when I mentioned our guy Matty Beniers and how he's crushing it with Michigan. Shout out to the Wolverines. We're going to talk about some prospects in the next segment. Don't forget to stick around for that. But assistant general manager of the Seattle Kraken is who? Jason Botterill, and the sister of Jen Botterill, or excuse me, the brother, the brother of Jen Botterill. Jen Botterill is Jason Botterill's sister. They're siblings, okay? They're siblings. So there you go. Way too early predictions for the class of 2022. There are other candidates on here. Jeremy Roenick. Okay. Curtis Joseph, Mike Vernon, Rick Nash. You probably saw while I was scrolling some other names. Henrik Zetterberg, Keith Tkachuk, Daniel Alfredson, and like I said, I can't make a case for all of those, but I can for Carolyn Willett, Jennifer Botterill. There's also a footnote there about Herb Carnegie. If you know about Willie O'Ree, you should know about Herb Carnegie. He was offered a contract with the New York Rangers, but for him to come up to the big show, he actually would have taken a pay cut. And as a family man raising his family, that was just not something that he could do. A few times he disregarded the contract, opted to stay where he was with his family. Check out Herb Carnegie. The Carnegie Initiative is actually something that just got started. I wrote an article in Forbes about it. I'll link that in the show notes. But check out the Carnegie Initiative. Bernice Carnegie, I actually got to meet Bernice Carnegie at the Hockey Hall of Fame induction of Willie O'Ree and the aforementioned Jana Hefford. That was such a cool experience. There's a lot of people pushing for Herb Carnegie to come in as a builder of the game. We'll see if that happens. I think Herb should have been on the list outright, but that's my opinion. So either way. All right, coming up next on Locked On Kraken, we're going to talk about prospects, but we're going to talk about them from the Charlotte Checkers. As you may recall, I had Tara Black from the Charlotte Checkers on the show talking a little bit about how it's going to work. It's a Florida Panthers affiliate, new year of that agreement, and now they've got to take care of our Seattle Kraken babies as well. Well, make sure you check out that episode. But I told you at the top of the show, there's a stat, even in the last Checkers loss, that stood out to me, and I think we should focus on that. Coming up on Locked On Kraken. But now let me tell you about betonline.ag. It's basketball season, it's football season, and nothing goes better with football than turkey and betting. Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you didn't know it was a thing, 1, join the club, but 2, betonline.ag has got you covered all season. More props, more odds, and more lines than ever before. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all of the sports action this Thanksgiving. Head to the new and updated website. You can use your mobile device, your tablet, your desktop, and when you use promo code LOCKEDON when you sign up for your first deposit, you will receive a 50% welcome bonus. But don't fret, it's not just football and not just for Turkey Day. You can find these deals all throughout the 2021-22 season, including, of course, the NHL, basketball, UFC, and even your favorite Vegas casino games. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, we're stuffed with deals this Thanksgiving. Want to thank you again for making Locked On Kraken your first listen of the day. I mentioned Tara Black. I mentioned the Charlotte Checkers. Let's get into this a little bit. The Charlotte Checkers, they fell to the Hershey Bears on Sunday. It was a 4-2 loss. 3 unanswered goals. Yikes. So that's not great. And that's not the stat that I want to talk about. But 3 unanswered goals, not great. You don't love to see it. But the one thing that I loved, and I loved how this was written because it caught my attention. I get the Charlotte Checkers emails in my inbox just to keep up with what's going on. And here it goes. The Checkers' lengthy road trip ended on a tough note Sunday evening as they surrendered a lead and ultimately fell to Hershey 4-2. Here it goes, folks. As they often have this season, the Checkers found the scoreboard first thanks to a power play snipe from Cale Fleury in the early minutes of the contest. Can you tell why I'm so excited about that sentence? I'm so excited about the sentence that I want to make sure I show it to you. I have to show it to you because this is fantastic. This is fantastic. Why I'm so excited about that sentence? Let me just read it for you again. Let me just read it for you again. I'll link the show notes. I'll link the post-game notes in the show notes. As they often have this season. Okay, let's stop there. As they often have this season. So we're talking habits, okay? We're talking consistency. We're talking scoring first, which is the next piece. As they often have this season, the Checkers found the scoreboard first. Bam! Let's go. Let's go. Now, granted, not all of the players on the Charlotte Checkers are Seattle Kraken prospects, just to be clear. So chemistry, we have to take that into effect. That being said, who scored the first goal in the first period on the power play? Cale Fleury. In the early minutes of the contest. There's just so much information in that first sentence that should, if you are a Seattle Kraken fan, just like make your ears tingle, make you sit up straight, listen a little bit more closely. I thought that was a great sentence. I'm going to read it again. As they often have this season, the Checkers found the scoreboard first thanks to a power play snipe from Cale Fleury in the early minutes of the contest. I love this. I think it's great. The other day, friend of the podcast, Connor Carrick, got the Charlotte Checkers a win. There's a great story here, about Joey Daccord. And it says, here we go, and I'm sure the Senators guys will like this. The winningest goalie in program history at Arizona State wrapped up his senior year and immediately made his pro debut at the NHL level with the Ottawa Senators. Then he spent his first season split between the ECHL and the AHL. Then he worked his way back into the picture into Ottawa last season, appearing in 8 contests. Then came the expansion draft, where he was selected by Seattle and all of a sudden became part of the goalie platoon for the league's newest club. That's hockey, said Daccord, and one day your whole world changes. Go check out that article. I will leave that link in the show notes. But that's going to do it for Locked On Kraken today. I appreciate you as always if you're watching on YouTube. I know the video is a little bit different than what we're used to, but I'm on the road. I'm home. We'll get back on track soon enough. I didn't want to do just audio, though. I wanted to make sure we keep it chugging on YouTube because we have so much fun. If you're not already following Locked On Kraken on YouTube, or subscribed, I guess I should say. If you're not subscribed on YouTube, I highly recommend it. We have fun in the comments. If you want to comment elsewhere, such as on Twitter or on social media, at Locked On Kraken is where to find us. And of course, you can find me, your host, Erica Lindsay Ayala, at elindsay08. That's ELINDSAY08. That's it for now. Thank you for listening to Locked On Kraken and making us your first listen of the day. But now it's time for you to head over and listen to Locked On Bets with your boy Q and Lee Sterling. As with everything on our platform, it is 100% free for you to enjoy. So happy listening, and I will catch you again tomorrow. Hold fast, stay true. Let's go Kraken.